Plato suggested the concept of dualism and also examined the soul's three elements. According to Plato, the three parts of the soul are the rational, spirited, and appetitive parts. If we were to choose a body component to portray each of those elements, Plato says the rational half of the soul is just like the body's head. The spirited part is like the heated blood in the heart, and the appetitive part is better described by the belly and genitals. The said three divisions of the soul are centered on his concept of the perfect city, wherein he assumes three types of citizens: guardians, auxiliary forces, and artisans. Plato argues that the city and the soul have a relationship in that they both have three parts that correspond to each other. Plato draws an analogy between the soul and a city. The appetitive soul, according to Plato, is in charge of basic human desires. The appetites include all of our diverse desires for security, pleasures, comforts, physical satisfactions, and bodily ease, such as sex, food, safety, and money. The basic human survival urges that might fight with one another are depicted in the chariot metaphor by an ugly black horse on the left. Plato suggested that appetites can often be in conflict with one another. If a person decides against something pleasurable, that person is believed to be using reason, thus rejecting the decision that favored the appetite. The spirited soul takes charge of emotions. This element of the soul is represented by the noble white horse on the right. The spirited or hot-blooded part, such as the part that gets angry when it perceives, for example, an injustice being done. This is the part of us that loves to face and overcome great challenges, the part that can steel itself to adversity, and that loves victory, winning challenge, and honor. Note that Plato's use of the term spirited here is not the same as spiritual. He means spirited in the same sense that we speak of a high-spirited horse, for example, one with lots of energy and power. The rational component of the soul, like the guardians, fulfills the executive function in a soul, just as it does in a city. This is the part of us that thinks, analyzes, anticipates, rationally balances possibilities, and seeks to determine what is best and truthful in the long run. Again, reason and intelligence are governed by the rational soul. This is represented by the charioteer, who is steering or should be guiding the horses, and the chariot represents the mind, our conscious awareness. Plato uses the idea of opposites to describe how the various parts of the soul interact with one another. For example, a person may want to have a sweetened beverage but refrains since it is unhealthy for him or her. The appetitive and rational parts of the brain are in conflict in this situation. This would be an example of appetites and reason opposing. As a result, the components of the soul might sometimes be in conflict with one another. In summary, the tripartite soul, according to Plato, is mainly evolved from the discussions of politics. Plato suggests that we have the appetitive soul, which includes all of our diverse desires for security, pleasures, comforts, physical satisfactions, and bodily ease. The spirited soul takes charge of emotions, and lastly, the rational soul is the part of us that thinks, anticipates, rationally balances possibilities, and seeks to determine what is best and truthful in the long run.